From the very beginning of his career, Jungkook was never just another idol in the massive machinery of K-pop. Even when he was introduced as the Golden Maknae of BTS, the title itself hinted at the limitless potential that would one day grow beyond the boundaries of the group and beyond the grasp of the very company that trained him. What no one, perhaps not even HYBE, fully anticipated, however, was that Jungkook would transform into the kind of cultural force that billion-dollar corporations cannot resist. Today, the scenario that HYBE quietly feared the most is unfolding in real time. The world's largest brands are circling Jungkook like gravity around a planet, each desperate to attach their name to his influence, each willing to pay whatever it takes. Jungkook's transformation into a global brand magnet isn't a lucky coincidence. It isn't even simply the byproduct of BTS's global success. What sets him apart is that his individual aura, artistry, and image resonate with people on a scale no other idol has achieved. When Calvin Klein announced Jungkook as their global ambassador, the impact wasn't limited to a one-day headline or a temporary sales spike. It ignited a seismic wave of cultural recognition, turning Jungkook into a fashion phenomenon whose influence crossed continents, languages, and generations. It was no longer just fans who knew him. It was CEOs, brand strategists, and industry analysts who started speaking his name as if it was synonymous with profit and dominance. Brands don't chase an artist unless they see a future that guarantees visibility and cultural penetration. With Jungkook, that future is obvious. Every appearance he makes is amplified into a global moment. Airports, music shows, live streams, no matter how mundane the event seems, Jungkook transforms it into a spectacle. This quality is what makes him dangerous for HYBE, because once brands realize that his power is self-sustaining, that it does not rely on the company's manufactured push, they will naturally ask, why should Jungkook remain tied down when he can redefine the game on his own? What HYBE fears most isn't simply competition for Jungkook's attention. Their worst fear is that billion-dollar brands will become his true partners in independence. A fashion empire like Calvin Klein doesn't just offer endorsement deals. It offers a platform that rivals entire music companies in terms of visibility and global reach. A brand like Nike, Apple, or Dior sees Jungkook not just as an idol, but as a generational icon who can reposition them within the cultural hierarchy. These brands have resources and strategies that even HYBE cannot control. And the more Jungkook proves he can stand as an icon on his own, the more these corporations will attempt to pull him away from the shadows of HYBE. Consider the ripple effect of Jungkook's brand power. When he wore Calvin Klein denim, stores reported massive sellouts within hours. When he casually mentioned products during live streams, sales skyrocketed without any formal advertisement. This isn't normal brand influence. This is the type of commercial gravity only a handful of figures in global history have wielded. Michael Jordan had it with Nike. Rihanna has it with Fenty. Now Jungkook has reached that echelon, except his dominance stretches across cultures in ways even those legends did not. He embodies the future of global branding, borderless, languageless, purely emotional and aesthetic connection with people. But here lies the twist that HYBE cannot ignore. As Jungkook grows into a figure that brands would give anything to secure, he simultaneously grows beyond the need for HYBE's management. HYBE was once his foundation, but foundations are not meant to be cages. For HYBE, Jungkook was supposed to remain both their pride and their property, the face they could present to the world while controlling the machinery behind him. Yet, as soon as billion-dollar brands start building direct ties with him, HYBE's ownership begins to look fragile. Because corporations don't care about the company behind Jungkook, they only care about Jungkook himself. From an emotional perspective, this shift is deeply satisfying to witness. For years, idols have been treated as replaceable pieces in an industry that thrives on control. But Jungkook is proving that he cannot be replaced, cannot be contained, and cannot be molded into just another label's product. He is not waiting for HYBE to grant him opportunities. He is attracting opportunities so massive that HYBE has no choice but to follow his lead. The irony here is sharp. The very success HYBE cultivated in Jungkook is now threatening to dismantle their dominance. When billion-dollar brands look at Jungkook, they see not just an ambassador, but an empire waiting to be built. They see a cultural phenomenon whose every movement carries value. They see someone who could potentially become the first global Asian male superstar to stand on the same level as Western icons, not as an exception but as the standard. And this vision is precisely why HYBE is nervous. Because once Jungkook realizes the full weight of his power, he may understand that his future doesn't need to be tethered to the company that raised him. This is where opinion becomes unavoidable. Jungkook's current trajectory suggests that he will outgrow HYBE, and brands are more than willing to help him achieve that independence. Unlike other idols who rely on their agencies to maintain relevance, Jungkook is building relevance that flows in the opposite direction. He keeps HYBE relevant, not the other way around. Every brand deal he secures proves that his image alone is more powerful than the company's name. And when this realization fully cements, HYBE will no longer be the gatekeeper of Jungkook's career. HYBE knows better than anyone that Jungkook is different. He is not just a face in a group, nor is he replaceable. For BTS, his voice is often the anchor of their songs. For fans, he is the most relatable yet unreachable figure, someone who embodies both raw talent and global appeal. For brands, he is the perfect intersection of authenticity and marketability. In this triangle of music, fandom, and commerce, Jungkook holds a leverage that no agency has ever fully prepared to handle. The conflict with HYBE is not about contracts on paper. It is about power in reality. Even if Jungkook is tied to HYBE legally, the truth is that his cultural and commercial weight is no longer tied to their strategies. His solo releases proved this brutally. When he dropped 7, the song didn't just perform well, it dominated global charts, rivaling Western pop stars who have entire industries backing them. HYBE benefited from this, of course, but the deeper truth was that Jungkook didn't need HYBE to prove his relevance. He proved it himself, directly to the world. This independence is what billion-dollar brands find irresistible. They see in Jungkook a star who does not need artificial packaging. They see someone who commands audiences without being told what to wear, what to say, or how to act. The rawness of his live streams, the casualness of his interactions, the unscripted nature of his presence, these are precisely the qualities that brands crave in the age of authenticity. And yet, for HYBE, those same qualities are threatening because they remind the world that Jungkook is powerful not because of the company but in spite of it. The emotional undertone of this conflict is striking. HYBE desperately wants to hold on to the narrative that BTS and, by extension, Jungkook remain within their empire. They need to present Jungkook as part of their portfolio, the shining jewel in their crown. But the reality keeps slipping through their fingers. Every brand deal Jungkook signs makes HYBE look smaller, not larger. Every global recognition he receives emphasizes his individuality, not his association with the company. In truth, the company now rides on Jungkook's name, not the other way around. And this reversal of power is the ultimate nightmare for any entertainment agency. There is also the question of what HYBE can realistically do. Can they limit his activities? If they try, they risk public backlash because fans know Jungkook's worth and will not tolerate seeing him restricted. Can they attempt to expand his opportunities within their control? They already are, but it is becoming obvious that even their biggest moves cannot match the scale of the global demand for him. HYBE's announcements, tours, or projects feel small compared to the seismic waves created by Jungkook's solo moves and brand collaborations. The imbalance is glaring, and it reveals just how fragile HYBE's control has become. At its core, the conflict is not about betrayal. Jungkook has never shown hostility toward HYBE or BTS. He remains loyal, grounded, and respectful. The problem lies in the natural trajectory of greatness. When someone grows so large that no system can contain them, the system itself starts to break. Jungkook's presence is bigger than HYBE's infrastructure. His choices matter more than their strategies. His face is more recognizable globally than the company's logo. In this reality, HYBE's worst fear is not that Jungkook will leave. It's that even if he stays, he already operates beyond their reach. What makes this conflict even more compelling is the way brands amplify it. Every time Calvin Klein pushes Jungkook to the forefront, they indirectly remind HYBE that their artist is more valuable in the global marketplace than the company itself. Every time luxury brands hint at wanting him as their ambassador, HYBE sees their monopoly over him erode. The more brands want him, the more it becomes obvious that Jungkook doesn't need HYBE's shield. He has built his own fortress of influence. From an opinion standpoint, this conflict feels inevitable. HYBE's empire was built on the success of BTS, but empires often crumble when one figure becomes too powerful. Jungkook is that figure. He is not rebelling, but his very existence as a self-sufficient global star destabilizes the balance. HYBE's attempts to maintain control are like trying to hold water in cupped hands. The more they try to grip tightly, the more slips away. The deeper emotional truth is that Jungkook deserves this independence. For years, idols have been confined by the boundaries of their agencies, their images curated to fit a strategy. But Jungkook is now living proof that the strongest stars shine brightest when they are allowed to be themselves. HYBE's fear is justified, but it is also misplaced. Instead of fearing the billion-dollar brands chasing Jungkook, they should recognize that this is the natural destiny of someone who was never meant to be ordinary.